So today we will create an FM pad in VCV Rack using only 3 available modules, and of course we will start with a lovely FM operator. This module is a full operator, which means that it has also an envelope that we can use. So let's really activate it. All we have to do is activate the envelope button here. And now the envelope will control the amplitude of the sound. I will use my Midi keyboard in this case for playing the sound. So I will use the Midi module from VCV and set up my keyboard. In my case, I have the Impact 88. And I will use also polyphony, just so we can play, of course, a few notes at the same time. I will use 8 voices. You can set it up differently if you want. So now if I connect the volt per octave to the FM operator and also the gate, you can see also that the cables are thicker. That means that it's polyphonic. We will use the sum module from VCV just so we can sum the polyphonic signals into a monophonic one and also control the levels of them. So I will set it to about, let's say, 40%. Send this to the output. And now I can play this. I can play this voice. So now we have one operator. I would like to have another one. I will just duplicate what we have. This will be the modulator. So the operator that will do the modulation. And the first operator will be our carrier. So this will be C, this will be M. The carrier is the one that will be modulated and the one we will listen to. I will put a few links in the description, by the way, about FM if you are interested. So for the modulator, I would not use the internal envelope. It will just be always on, it will always oscillate, but I will use the same pitch information from the Midi module. And let's send it to the input, to the FM input of the carrier, and let's have a listen to this. It will make the sound brighter. Here, by the way, I'm increasing the FM depth, so the modulation depth. Already what I will do, I will change the envelope, the internal envelope of the FM operator to linear level response. Just so it's a bit easier to play. Okay, now let's add another modulator. I will add another FM operator. This one will modulate the modulator we already have. So I will connect it to the FM, and also we need the pitch information. Very nice. And in this case, I will change the ratio. So the FM operator has a frequency ratio instead of pitch or frequency, as you see on different oscillators, which means that we can change the ratio of the operator. So if I change this here to 2, let's say now this operator is an octave up, 1 octave up, then the one it's modulating, which means that it's a ratio of 2 to 1. So let's have a listen to this. Again, I will raise the FM depth. This will again make the sound brighter. I can also add some feedback on the second modulator, which means basically that the operator will feed back into itself and will modulate its own frequency, again making the sound even brighter. Okay, now I want to add some movement to this. So let's use walk from Bog Audio, which will output smooth random voltage. I will add it between the modulators. And I will use it to modulate the FM depth of the first modulator. So this one here. First of all, I will connect it to the depth CV input. And now as soon as I connect something to the CV input, it works in most of the Bog Audio modules like this. As soon as I connect something to the CV input, the corresponding knob becomes an attenuator. So first of all, what I will do, I will set the walk module that we have to be unipolar, so it will start from 0 volts and will go up. I do it simply by taking the offset all the way up. And now again, this knob here becomes an attenuator, so I will take it maybe a bit even Open it a bit more. And now if I start changing the rate of walk, you will hear that we have more movement. Right, but I don't want it to be so quick. I want just to have some movement over the brightness, which will add to the sound. Okay, another thing we can do to add more movement is detuning the operators. So I will leave the carrier at 0, I will use the fine tune, I will leave it at 0, but I can detune just a bit. So you can hear that we have lots and lots of movement. Okay, so this is more or less our first layer. We will make a few more adjustments later on, but let's add another layer. And this time I will use Kitchen Sync. I will use actually already 2 of them. Kitchen Sync from Squinky Labs. This module is also a full operator based on the FM operator module, but it has a few other tricks. So first of all, let's add a mixer that we can use to mix all of the layers we will add. I will use the mixer from Nischi and already add the first layer, and this will go to the output. Now let's activate the level envelope for the carrier for the second layer, which will be this one here. I just have to click this button, and now again the built-in envelope will be routed to the level, so we can control our amplitude, or the amplitude for this voice. I will use another sum module, again just to sum the polyphonic signal. Okay, and now again I will use the Midi module for pitch and gate for the carrier, and just pitch for the modulator, and I will use the modulator to modulate the linear FM, in this case the LFM input of the carrier. Again, we are using the ones from Kitchen Sync. So let's solo this and have a listen. First of all, I will take the sustain all the way up, maybe add some release to this, and take the FM depth up. We can also add feedback a bit to make this even brighter. Let's detune them again. Just a bit, just to add this movement. And now for the second layer, again with the Kitchen Sync modules, we can change also the waveform. So we don't have to use only sine waves. We can have also something between a triangle and a saw for the modulator. So if I click the wave here, we have TS, triangle, saw, and then with the shape we can scan through those shapes. So maybe somewhere here. I will unmute. Very nice. We can also change the carrier to fold, and now with the shape we can fold this sine wave. So it's a really interesting feature on Kitchen Sync. Just a bit again to make the sound even brighter. Very cool. Let's add maybe some attack here. Something like this. Very nice. Now Kitchen Sync has also exponential FM, which is perfect for something like vibrato. So let's use an LFO. I will use the LLFO from Bog Audio again, just like this. And now I will send it to both, to modulate the FM, the exponential FM of the modulator and the carrier together. And let's have a listen to this. Maybe change the FM. something to about 5, let's say 5.4, so 5.4 will be also for the modulator. And let's change the rate. Again, I will solo this. Maybe 7.8, let's see. Just to add some movement. Very sloppy, full of movement. Let's listen to both layers. Yes, very full of movement. Another thing we can do, we can add another walk. Again, from Borg Audio, this will output again smooth random signals. And I can use this walk to modulate the frequency, the rate of the LLFO. So I will take the scale all the way down for now, so it will not do anything, and we can add some modulation to the rate of the LFO. Very nice. Here I see that the levels are a bit too high, so let's take it to about 0.8, and also the master mix, or the primary level, to 80 or 0.8 again. Okay, very nice. Now, before we add another layer, I would like to add some velocity control. So let's add a VCA for each layer. This will be before the sum module, so we can have different levels for each of the voices, and you will see in a second how this will work. So I will add a VCA before the sum, just like this. I'm feeling a bit claustrophobic here. Everything is too close to one another. Let's do something like this. Okay. Very nice. And now I can use the velocity output from the MIDI module, and you can see here already that each voice has a different level, and this is exactly what I want. So now this will be velocity for the levels, but I want also to have velocity over the FM depth. So we will need another VCA, one for each carrier, or for each modulator, let's say. And then the modulator will go first to the VCA in both cases. And again, we will have velocity control over this as well. So now softer notes will be also darker, and not only with less volume. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Okay, so now let's add another layer. I will add, in this case, a wavetable synth, and this will be Terror Form from Valley. This is a polyphonic wavetable synth. We will use the FM2 wavetable, so also here we have FM. I will also activate, if I zoom in a bit, I can activate the internal low-pass gate. Basically, a low-pass gate is a combination between a VCA and a low-pass filter. So if I click and hold this button here until it's activated, then we have VCA, we have VCF, which is the filter, and we have VCA and VCF, and we have an internal envelope, an attack decay envelope for this. So now I will use the MIDI module for the pitch. We will wait a second with the gates for the pitch. And Terraform has a velocity mode that will, according to the level of the incoming gates, it will control the amplitude of the voice. So first of all, I will use the VCA, and I will activate the velocity mode, which is here. And now we will send the gate from the MIDI module to the VCA first, and then to the gate input of Terraform, and again use the velocity to control the levels, in this case of the gates, which will again change the levels or the velocity of the voice itself. Now here we will not go through another sum module, but we will use Orbit from Störmelder. This will pan the different voices left and right. So what we have to do is first of all send Terraform to Orbit, but we also need something to trigger it. So with each trigger it will pan the voices left and right. So let's trigger it with the same gate and change the spread all the way up to 100, so it will be really panned hard left and hard right. And now this can go to the mixer. In this case we will have a stereo signal. Let's solo this and have a listen. You can hear that the voices are panned. Let's add attack and decay. Add some beat crash a bit, just to change the sound. Maybe without beat crash. And let's add another walk to add movement to the wavetable position. Just like this, maybe take it somewhere here. So we have more movement. Let's unmute the other voices. See. Very nice. Okay, now also here I would like to have some vibrato. So I will use the same, we have here also an FM input, I will use the same LFO for Terraform, and here we have to change it to true FM. True FM means basically exponential FM, and add just a bit. Very nice, lots of movement. Another thing I want to do in order to add some movement is panning modulation. So I will use, do we have a walk here? I have here this walk that I can use, and I will use it to modulate the panning of the second layer. Just like this, let's open it. So now the second layer will also be panned left and right according to the walk we have there set. Very nice. Now actually this walk is not working so nicely here. I will use a different walk with a bit that is a bit quicker, just so it will move more rapidly. Very nice, take the modulation down. Okay, so now I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to do something that's not really connected with FM synth usually, and that's adding a filter. I want to have some control over the overall timbre, and I want also to add some drive to this, some juice. So I will add stairway after the mixer. Stairway is also from Squinky Labs. So let's send the voice through the filter, just like this. Let's add some resonance. And now bring back the bass, add some drive. actually I will use my controller to map the cutoff point. So again, I will use my MIDI controller to the cutoff. I just have a knob here that I will control. Let's see. Okay, let's have this walk that we are using for the panning. We will use it also to modulate the cutoff a bit. Even when I'm not doing anything to the cutoff, it will still have movement. Now we can make everything even brighter because we have the filter there. So we can just take maybe the depth here a bit up, and this is okay. Very nice. Kind of sloppy, full of movement pad. Maybe we can add just a bit of release to the carriers. Okay, very nice. Now, I kept the best for the end, adding a nice lush reverb and some delay. So I will use the combination of our lovely Chronoblob 2 and Plateau, adding those two here to the mix, to the chain. One delay and one reverb. Are you ready for this? I sure am. I'm just setting the delay times different for left and right, maybe a ping pong delay, less wet, less feedback. Add some modulation on the reverb, take the lows a bit out, maybe less decay, less wet, just a bit less wet. And let's have a listen to this. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Let's see. Oh man. Very nice, very nice. Now I know this is a big patch, but you can also sample this and add to your patches as samples, or even record a few notes and create an instrument out of it with something like Contact, for example. You can create many other sounds with this setup, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Have fun and cheers.